In 1638, in the shadow of Osaka Castle, a young warrior named Shinobu stood frozen before the Council of Elders. They had asked him a simple question: "Are you ready to lead the northern garrison?" His mouth opened. No words came. His palms sweated. His mind raced with every possible way he could fail. The head elder finally spoke, voice heavy with disappointment. "You have skill, Shinobu, you have training, but you lack what every leader must possess." He paused. Confidence. Shinobu bowed, shame burning through him, and left the chamber. That word, confidence, echoed in his mind like a curse. Everyone told him he needed it. Books described it, masters praised it, but no one could tell him how to get it. For weeks, Shinobu tried everything. He stood taller, spoke louder, forced his voice to sound certain even when doubt screamed inside him. He mimicked the confident warriors around him, their swagger, their boldness, their unshakable certainty. But it was exhausting. Every interaction felt like performance, every decision felt like fraud. And beneath the mask of confidence he was trying to build, the fear grew larger. One night after another failed attempt to act confident during training, Shinobu's closest friend Kenji pulled him aside. "You're trying too hard. Everyone can see it. You look like a child wearing his father's armor." "Then what should I do?" Shinobu's voice cracked. "They say I need confidence, but I don't feel it. I've never felt it." Kenji studied him for a long moment. "There's a master in the mountains. They say he doesn't teach confidence. He teaches something else, something deeper." "What?" "I don't know, but men go to him broken and return different. Not louder, not bolder, just solid, like they found something that can't be shaken." The next morning, Shinobu left Osaka. He climbed for 3 days through mountain passes until he reached a small temple surrounded by ancient pines. The master, an old woman named Lady Tomoe, sat in the courtyard sharpening a blade. "I need to learn confidence," Shinobu announced. Lady Tomoe didn't look up. "Then you've wasted your journey. I don't teach confidence." "But they said you could help me lead, that you could—" "I can teach you something far more valuable than confidence," she interrupted, examining the blade's edge. "I can teach you inner authority. But first, you must understand why confidence has failed you." She finally looked at him, her eyes sharp despite her age. "Tell me, Shinobu, what is confidence?" "It's believing in yourself, being certain, not doubting." "Wrong. Confidence is a feeling, and feelings are weather. They come and go. Some days you feel confident, other days you don't. You've been chasing a feeling, trying to force it, pretending you have it when you don't. How has that worked for you?" Shinobu's shoulders sagged. "It hasn't. I feel like a fraud." "Good. That's the first honest thing you've said." Lady Tomoe stood, sheathing the blade. "Confidence is the fool's gold of leadership. It looks valuable, but it's hollow. It collapses under real pressure. It requires external validation to survive. It depends on circumstances staying favorable." She began walking toward the temple. "Inner authority is different. It doesn't require you to feel certain. It doesn't need validation. It exists independent of your emotions, and it cannot be taken from you." "How do I learn it?" Shinobu asked, following. "By unlearning everything you think leadership requires. By discovering the source of authority that exists beneath confidence, beneath ego, beneath the need to be right. By building a foundation so deep that no storm can shake it." She stopped at the temple entrance. "But I warn you, the path to inner authority requires you to face what you've been running from. Most people prefer the exhausting performance of confidence to the honest work of authority. Which will you choose?" Shinobu looked back at the mountain path, the easy descent back to his comfortable delusion that confidence was the answer. Then he looked at Lady Tomoe, at the quiet solidity in her stance, the unshakable calm in her eyes. "I choose authority," he said. Lady Tomoe nodded. "Then your real training begins tomorrow. Rest tonight. You'll need it." Dawn broke cold and sharp. Lady Tomoe woke Shinobu before the sun crested the mountains. "Today we begin with destruction." "Destruction of what?" "The false self you've built. The persona that seeks approval, the identity that requires confidence to function." She led him to a storage room filled with masks, dozens of them, each carved with different expressions: confidence, authority, wisdom, strength, fear, weakness. "Choose the mask you've been wearing," Lady Tomoe instructed. Shinobu studied them, then picked up the mask labeled confidence, carved with a broad smile and raised chin. "Put it on." He did. Immediately he felt the familiar tension, the performance beginning, the exhausting maintenance of an image. "Now tell me about yourself while wearing it." Shinobu spoke, voice artificially strong. "I am Shinobu, warrior of Osaka, skilled in—" "Stop!" Lady Tomoe's voice was sharp. "You're lying, not about facts, but about being. That's not your voice, that's the mask's voice. Take it off." He removed it, relief flooding through him. "Now tell me about yourself without it." Shinobu opened his mouth. The words came out quieter, uncertain. I'm Shinobu. I'm trained in swordsmanship, but I doubt myself constantly. I want to lead, but I'm afraid I'll fail. I pretend to be confident, but inside, I'm terrified of being exposed as inadequate." Silence hung in the air. Then Lady Tomoe smiled, not mockingly but warmly. "Good, that is truth, and inner authority can only be built on truth, never on performance." She took the confidence mask and, without ceremony, smashed it against the stone floor. It shattered. The first principle of inner authority: stop performing, stop pretending, stop maintaining an image. Authority does not come from appearing a certain way. It comes from being rooted in reality. Over the next week, Lady Tomoe systematically destroyed every false foundation Shinobu had built his identity upon. "Why do you want to lead?" she asked one morning. "Because leaders are respected, admired, important. So you want authority for what it gives you. That's not authority, that's ego-seeking validation. Real authority asks, what can I give? What responsibility can I bear? What service can I provide? When you make decisions, what guides you?" she asked another day. "I try to think about what others would respect, what would look strong. So your decisions are controlled by imaginary judges in your mind. That's not authority, that's performance. Real authority asks, what does reality require? What serves the situation? What is true?" Each day another false pillar collapsed. The need for approval, the fear of judgment, the desire to appear confident, the belief that certainty was required to act. Shinobu felt himself unraveling. "If I'm not those things, what am I?" Lady Tomoe handed him a wooden staff. "Nothing. And that's perfect, because inner authority can only be built on nothing, on the solid ground of no self, no image, no performance. Come." She led him to a training ground where a single post stood in the center. "Strike it, but don't try to appear strong. Don't perform power. Just strike from your natural center." Shinobu raised the staff and struck. The blow was weak, hesitant. Again, but this time feel where the strike originates. Not from your arms, not from your desire to look strong, deeper. He struck again, paying attention. This time he felt something different, a place deep in his core, below thought, below emotion, below ego. The strike came from there. The impact was solid, real. The post shuddered. Lady Tomoe nodded. "That's your center. That's where inner authority lives. Not in confidence, not in performance. In that place that exists whether you feel confident or not, whether others approve or not, whether you succeed or fail. That's what we're going to develop." Inner authority has 3 pillars, Lady Tomoe explained as they sat in the meditation hall. Most people never build even one. You will build all 3. First, self-trust. How is that different from confidence? Confidence says, "I believe I will succeed." Self-trust says, "I will handle whatever comes." See the difference? Confidence requires a predicted outcome. Self-trust requires only your commitment to face reality. Confidence is fragile. Self-trust is unbreakable. She handed him a journal. "For the next 30 days, you will practice Jiko Shinrai, self-trust cultivation. Every evening, you will write 3 things. What challenge arose today? How did I handle it? What did I learn about my capacity?" Day 1. Shinobu wrote about a difficult physical training where his body wanted to quit. "I didn't quit. I discovered I can endure more than I think. My capacity is larger than my fear suggests." Day 5. He wrote about making a decision during a village dispute Lady Tomoe had sent him to mediate. "I chose based on fairness, not approval. The merchants disagreed with me, but I stood by the decision. I learned I can act without consensus." Day 12. "I failed today. My judgment was wrong. The training exercise I designed collapsed, but I acknowledged it, adjusted, and continued. I learned failure doesn't destroy me. I can be wrong and still be whole." Week by week, the journal filled. And slowly, Shinobu noticed something. His self-trust wasn't based on always succeeding. It was based on evidence that he could face challenges, learn from failures, adapt to surprises, and continue forward regardless of circumstances. "This is the first pillar," Lady Tomoe said one morning reading his journal. "You're no longer asking, will I succeed? You're asking, can I handle this?" And the answer is always yes, because handling something doesn't mean winning. It means facing it fully, learning from it, and remaining standing. "The second pillar," she continued, "is Handan, sovereign decision-making. You will learn to make decisions from your own center, not from the court of imaginary judges in your mind." She presented him with a scenario. A lord asks you to execute a prisoner. The prisoner is accused of treason, but you doubt the evidence. What do you do? Old Shinobu would have asked, what would confident leaders do? What would gain respect? What would avoid criticism? New Shinobu asked different questions. What does reality show me? What do I believe is just? What can I stand behind regardless of consequences? I would request to review the evidence myself. Shinobu answered. If it's insufficient, I would refuse the execution and accept the consequences. Even if the Lord threatens your position? Yes, because my authority comes from my own center, not from the Lord's approval. If I betray my own judgment to keep a position, I've already lost any real authority. Lady Tomoe smiled. You're beginning to understand. Sovereign decision-making means your choices are yours, made from your values, your assessment, your responsibility, not to avoid criticism, not to gain approval, but because you've weighed reality and chosen your response. The third pillar, she said, standing, is the hardest, Sonzai Sonke, existential respect. This means you respect your own existence enough to take up space, to speak your truth, to act from your center, even when others disagree. Most people wait for permission to exist fully. They minimize themselves to avoid judgment. They silence their truth to keep peace. They shrink to make others comfortable. This is the opposite of inner authority. Come, I'll show you what I mean. Lady Tomoe led Shinobu to a council meeting in the nearby village. 5 elders argued over land distribution. Voices raised, egos clashing, each demanding their view prevail. Observe, she whispered to Shinobu. What do you see? Conflict. Everyone trying to dominate, no one listening. Deeper. What's beneath that? Shinobu watched more carefully. They're insecure, each one performing authority, trying to convince others and themselves that they're right. They're all wearing masks. Yes, confidence without authority, volume without substance. Now enter the circle and speak. What should I say? Whatever is true, whatever reality requires. Not to impress them, not to make them like you from your center. Shinobu's old fear rose. What if they dismiss me? I'm younger, less experienced. They'll think I'm arrogant to interrupt. He observed the fear, felt it, and then accessed something deeper. The place Lady Tomoe had shown him. His center, the foundation that didn't need permission. He walked into the circle. The elders stopped, looking at him with annoyance. Forgive the interruption, Shinobu said, voice calm and clear. Not loud, not performing strength, just solid. I've listened to this discussion. Each of you makes valid points, but you're solving the wrong problem. And what problem should we solve? One elder asked dismissively. You're arguing about dividing land, but the real question is, what serves the village best? Not who wins this argument, but what creates long-term prosperity. If we start there, the division becomes obvious. Silence. The elders looked at each other. Shinobu's words had cut through the ego battle because they came from truth, not from performance. The northern section floods every spring, Shinobu continued. Assign it communally for rice paddies that can handle water. The southern section is stable. Divide that for individual farms. This serves function, not ego. One elder nodded slowly. That makes sense. Another added, why didn't we see that? Because you were performing, Shinobu thought. You were protecting images instead of serving reality. After the meeting, Lady Tomoe walked with him back to the temple. You spoke with inner authority, not because you felt confident. I saw your hands shaking, but because you spoke from your center, from truth, from service. That's what authority is. But I was terrified, Shinobu admitted. Of course, fear doesn't disappear, but with inner authority, fear stops controlling you. You felt it and spoke anyway. Not to overcome fear, but to act from something deeper than fear. Over the following weeks, Lady Tomoe sent Shinobu into increasingly challenging situations, mediating disputes, leading training exercises, making decisions with incomplete information. Each time she asked the same question afterward. Did you act from your center or from performance? Sometimes he failed. Sometimes he slipped back into people-pleasing or image protection. But each time he recognized it faster, returned to his center more quickly, rebuilt his foundation more solidly. The difference between confidence and inner authority, Lady Tomoe explained one evening, is this. Confidence says, I know what will happen and I believe I'll succeed. Inner authority says, I don't know what will happen, but I trust myself to face it, learn from it, and remain standing. 6 months after arriving at the mountain temple, Shinobu received a message from Osaka. The Council of Elders requested his return. They were reconsidering his leadership position. Old fear rose, what if I fail again? What if I freeze like before? But beneath the fear, something else remained, solid, unmovable. His center. You're ready, Lady Tomoe said simply. Not because you'll perform perfectly, not because you'll feel confident, but because you've built something real. Inner authority doesn't guarantee success. It guarantees you'll remain yourself, regardless of outcome. Shinobu bowed deeply. Thank you, Lady Tomoe, for showing me the difference. I showed you nothing, she replied. I simply held space while you discovered what was already there. Now go, And remember, authority is not something you have, it's something you practice every moment by choosing truth over performance. The journey back to Osaka felt different. Shinobu noticed he wasn't rehearsing what to say, wasn't building arguments to prove himself, wasn't constructing an image of confidence to project. He was simply present, grounded, real. When he entered the council chamber, the same 5 elders sat waiting. The head elder spoke. "Shinobu, 6 months ago we told you that you lacked confidence. Since then you've been training in the mountains. Are you now ready to lead?" Old Shinobu would have puffed up, performed certainty, spoken with artificial boldness. New Shinobu simply spoke truth. "I don't know if I'm ready by your standards," he said calmly. "But I know this. I will make decisions based on reality, not on protecting my image. I will serve the garrison's needs, not my ego's needs. I will admit mistakes, learn from failures, and remain standing through challenges. I don't offer you confidence, I offer you commitment." The elders looked surprised. This wasn't the performance they expected, but something in Shinobu's presence, the quiet solidity, the absence of pretense, was more compelling than any confident declaration. "That's," one elder paused, "that's the most honest answer we've ever heard in this chamber." Another elder added, "Most candidates tell us what they think we want to hear. You told us the truth, that's rare." The head elder studied Shinobu for a long moment. "You've changed. Not louder, not bolder, but solid, like you've found bedrock. Very well. The northern garrison is yours. Lead them not with confidence, but with whatever you discovered in those mountains." As Shinobu left the chamber, Kenji was waiting outside. "Well, did they give you the position?" "They did." "So you finally found confidence?" Shinobu smiled. "No, I found something better. I found inner authority, the foundation beneath confidence. I stopped performing and started being. I stopped seeking approval and started serving reality. I stopped trying to appear strong and discovered actual strength." "What's the difference?" Kenji asked, confused. "Confidence needs favorable conditions to exist. Inner authority exists regardless of conditions. Confidence requires you to feel certain. Inner authority requires only that you remain yourself." Kenji shook his head, smiling. "You sound like a monk now." "Maybe. Or maybe I just stopped being a performer and became real. That's what Lady Tomoe taught me. You don't need confidence to lead. You need truth. You need commitment. You need the courage to speak from your center, even when your voice shakes. That's inner authority, and it's unshakable." 5 years later, Shinobu's garrison became known throughout Japan, not for its warriors' confidence, but for their solid, grounded authority. They didn't fight to prove themselves. They fought from center. They didn't lead with bravado. They led with truth. And Shinobu never forgot Lady Tomoe's final lesson. Authority is not a destination. It's a practice. Some days you'll feel confident, other days you won't. But the foundation beneath both remains. Your center, your truth, your commitment to face reality as it is rather than perform an image of who you think you should be. That's the Shinobu mindset. Not confidence, not certainty, not performance, but inner authority, the unshakable foundation built on self-trust,